Boom! We're off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy. His dress code is pajama formal. It's Zach Elias. What's up, buddy?
Pajama formals, good times. Yeah, I need an elastic waist. Buttons are too constricting.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. Tuesdays, we do it live. Saturdays, we post it later. Make sure you're subscribing. Hit all our episodes. We're pretty much everywhere. Got a fun one? I think we got a fun one today. Episode 126. I'm calling this Fight On. Do you get the reference?
Fight On? No.
It's a USC thing where I didn't know that, but I have an SC hat and I've been walking around the city and people just come up to you with a peace sign and go fight on. I'm like,
who are you, OJ?
Did you go there?
Yeah.
Before we get into today's episode, Zach, why don't you tell everybody what we are drinking for this episode?
We are drinking from the Widmer Brothers Brewery, Trifecta, from 1984. Good year. Green Skies Hazy IPA. I'm going to hate it, but I'm going to hate everything else that's left in your variety pack, so flame on. Is there any words about it? Inspired by and brewed in the Pacific. We read this shit already.
It's basically the same stuff. They just changed the ingredients in one of the lines.
No scheiße.
This is a bad 8th grade report where they have the same paragraph. They just take out a word and put in the new one for the other flavor that's put in.
All the time. I got like, if I got an A, I used it every year for all of high school. Classics never die. Release
the Kraken. Cheers.
Meanwhile, I've got 2 pieces of KT tape across my back that are peeling, but that's a whole other story.
What does KT tape stand for?
Kinesiology or kinetic tape, whatever the fuck.
Kinesio tape. I'll give you a partial credit on that, Zach.
Yeah, you got to watch the guy do the video like 3 times before you get it right.
There are courses
for likes it. Your Victoria's Secret shirt. It's sexy.
We'll talk about that. Episode 126, Fight On. I have a ton of topics tonight that all kind of relate to fighting, people fighting. That I thought.
Ooh, I hate this.
The episode or?
No, the episode's fine. Your shirt, not as much. This beer is no good.
For people who just listen to this, you can find everything that I wear on everywhere, putting stuff all over the internet just for people to catch. And
you can find everything he wears at Forever 21.
Zach, we signed on early tonight. You sound like you've been on one. I don't have to deal with kids very often, but every now and then I do. And I have to say, congratulations. It is hard not strangling them on a daily basis.
Yeah, especially when I'm a single parent tonight because my wife is at some viewing party for This Is Us. Sounds just awful.
Diddling herself, you mean?
I probably. That's what I'm going to do when I'm done with this thing. They got a stay of execution. So let's go.
I went home this past weekend, Zach, and I got some spending time with my niece. She's turning 13. My nephew's 11. The little one is 5. Those 2 older kids couldn't not fight. It got to the point that I was literally like, I wanted to take them out places. I couldn't. I was like, I can't be in a car with these little brats. You're an only child. Your wife's an only child. So you never really had that sibling hate each other rivalry.
I hate each other, but like I have 2 half sisters, one of whom before the days of like the phone helping out with car rides, cried the entire state of Delaware on a trip to DC. Oh yeah.
Over what?
She didn't fucking say. She was like 2.
I thought this was like in her 20s. She was just crying the whole time.
It might have been. She still might. I mean, I could see it. There's a world where Rachel cries the entire state of Delaware. But yeah, I was essentially an only child, and so was Jenna. So we never dropped the gloves. And I only saw the 2 of them. My other sisters dropped the gloves in their, like, one was in their late 20s and the other was in her early 30s. Or maybe it was the other way around. Whatever it was, my dad let them go just to see how it would go. Rachel kicked the shit out of the other. Emily, like, just owned her. And it was the right thing to do. They had to do it. They were so at each other, they just went.
I don't know, man. I don't remember growing up loving my sister the way you're supposed to, but we heard all the time, oh my God, you 2 are like the most best friends. You're so well behaved. I remember like we definitely have went to blows before.
All right, there's Sean's and Fairchild.
But these 2 kids were so bad. And the whole weekend I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And then finally they got their phones taken away. Angels.
5-year-old's got a phone?
No, not the 5-year-old is actually pretty good, but they are such angels at this point, which, I had that bit way before I saw it online, but kill the Wi-Fi in your house, it solves all the problems.
Or it starts all the problems. So wait, what ages were they again? I'm sorry.
13, 11, 5. The 5-year-old was fine.
11 has a phone? That's a thing?
Everything. He's got all the stuff. It's really bad.
That's too much. That's too much technology. 11 phone.
It
What does
makes
he
me.
need to do? He calls broker.
He's got a little piece these days.
What? He's
We
getting ass.
we did a double date. Went out for snow cones.
Who paid?
Me,
That
obviously.
sucks.
So
I don't know. He's got a piece. Maybe he's got a job.
my niece is in middle school, and the younger one, he's getting there close. And we went to the little one's softball, t-ball game, basically, at my old middle school, which I hadn't been at since probably mid 90s. And don't ask me how we got there, but my nephew shows me
Straight from a 50-yard line, that kind of thing.
on the talk, they have their own. So I went to Franklin Middle School, FMS Talk or FMS Fights on TikTok, where when fights break out in a school, kids take out their phones and videotape that as it's happening.
Love it.
Did you have fights at your school growing up?
Rarely. Everybody got into like one at some point in their career. I got into one when I was in like 7th grade, and I beat the crap out of an 8th grader. He was a real pill. But like, yeah, it made me dirt. It was great. He wasn't a big guy. Like, I mean, everyone that was like a rumble, but more that was like college, like high school fights.
College?
The circle would go around you. Yeah, like the freshman football team wanted to beat up our entire fraternity house.
Oh, like
was-
more like
It
fraternity.
was like a
okay.
40 on 12. You know,
I thought you meant like on
we
the
held our own, but we lost.
I was imagining like in the lecture hall. That's probably not happening. But
no, like 12 of them beat up 40 of us. It was awful.
when Julia found this out, she was irate. She's like, I would never let my kid go to a school that had fights. And I just remember going,
Every school
yeah, every school has fights. All of them.
Homeschool this kid, and still there might be a rumble.
But the
Even
fact
at
that
the homeschool,
they're putting that on the internet these days, it makes you go, is that making it better or worse?
it's neither. It's just making it more exciting. It's like you don't have to pay for pay-per-view. And a good kid fight is awesome. Listen, nothing ever happens, but like it goes to the ground, a few punches. No one knows what they're doing. It's great. Circle
with you.
forms around them in a second. I don't know where all these people come from, but it's an immediate, circle. It's like watching the horror.
It'll be great. They bring in a chair, and like a chicken
might.
fight almost.
Macho Man.
You mentioned pay-per-view. Let's segue to another topic of people that used to be on pay-per-view that are getting into politics. I don't know where politicians should come from because I don't think they should be lifelong politicians.
Like Jesse the Body Ventura? He was on pay-per-view.
Jesse the Body, but more specifically, there's 2 elections coming up that I heard about. And I have a patient right now. She's a lovely Filipino woman, and she was telling me about Manny Pacquiao and how he's running for president.
He's runs for everything.
I thought he already was dictator of the country, but
He might
apparently
be.
this is the big jump for him. Now, I don't know enough to say anything, but my lady the other day tells me that he is the most uneducated person and has 0 chance of winning the presidency.
And the guy they currently got, how's he doing?
I thought
he like a warlord.
Dude, I thought he already was this big thing, and they're telling me how I didn't know that he was dumb. I had no idea. I just assumed you could win on popularity, but this is a big jump for him.
It is popularity. The Philippines election's like 8th grade.
The same way, a guy that could be on the Mount Rushmore for UFC, you've never heard of him, BJ Penn, is running for governor of Hawaii, which the guy has no brain cells left anyway, so if he wins, great. He can only help things. I guess, like, where are we? Again, I don't think we should have people that have been doing politics since they're 15, but at the same time, I don't think we need Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in and being the governor out of nowhere. Where do we get politicians from? Are you okay with these people running?
I don't know. I don't really want to run. The problem with the job is that anyone qualified for the job, I wouldn't mind being mayor of New York.
I was just saying, you're like, I don't want to run. The hell you don't.
I want to be mayor of New York. I don't want to be president. I don't want to be governor. I don't want to live in Albany. Fuck that noise. But that said, anyone qualified to actually do this job well doesn't want to do the job because doing something much better or meaningful or pays a hell of a lot more. So you're left with the cream of the crap. You're left with whatever's left. It's just shit. It's like DeVito and Twins. That's who runs for politics. All these sleazy guys. So there's that. Or like washed up athletes. I mean, Anthony Gonzalez, B-level receiver for the Colts, is like some
Tony Gonzalez?
Not Tony Gonzalez. I take him too. Anthony, the white bald guy.
Me?
You, yeah. He looks like you, actually. He's a senator or a congressman or a governor or something. These guys have nothing better to do. But some of them would be good. I would take Charles Barkley as governor of Alabama. They've been asking for him for years.
Really? I didn't know that.
Fantastic.
I don't know. I heard these people running, and I'm thinking to myself, who are they to think that they should be running for a big spot? But who am I to think that I should have a podcast?
Yeah, I mean, why not them? I mean, they've got a following, they've got a platform. Some of them aren't dumb. Like, I don't know, Peyton Manning's a smart guy.
That's literally what people say about us,
That we're not
except for the
dumb.
smart part. Yeah, they have a following,
Right.
they have a platform. That's it.
Yeah, so we should run for something.
Ooh, do I get to be in charge or am I your lieutenant?
I don't know. You be in charge because then that's one who goes down first. Then I slide right in, and everyone loves that guy.
On who?
Well, who am I sliding in on? Whoever's in front of me. Whoever's there. Crease it
So
up.
I'm sure people know that there's a little bit of a war going on right now between Russia and the Ukraine.
Breaking
Zach,
news. The story
I,
we broke right here.
I speak no Russian, none at all. But patients love if you just put in this much effort into saying something in their language. I have a lady right now, she's Ukrainian. The other day,
Drop a yet on her and go for it.
I go to leave, and on the way out, I've been trying to understand her broken English the whole time. I say, "Do svidanias,"
Yeah.
right? At which point, most of my patients will turn and go, "You speak Russian?" Which, come on, I know one word.
Yeah.
This lady gave me the business. She goes, that is Russian. I do not speak Russian. I speak Ukrainian." And I'm thinking, isn't it the same? Or you know what I was getting at type of deal?
Das Ukraine. Like, come on.
Well, it's always like people from Ukraine understand and speak Russian, although I do know Ukrainian is a different language. This lady was so mad at me for saying that. Like, it's not the same thing. How dare you get those confused?
You should have just said, "Listen, lady, I dared. I took a risk."
Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Yeah,
Leave
I
me
did my
alone.
best.
Come on.
Still have armies in the Ukraine.
I was going to save this for pishadoo of the week, but the other big one, which happened almost a week ago, because we have these episodes that we come out 5 days later. Iron Mike Tyson on the airplane, Zach. What are people doing, thinking that you can poke a bear and not get the shit kicked out of you?
Yeah, but you might get a check at the end of it, so sometimes it's worth poking the bear and taking the beating.
You think so?
Will he get a check? I don't know. Maybe not for that, but at times, like that guy who flipped out on that flight and got dragged out while we were filmed.
The doctor? I remember that.
Yeah,
10 million.
He
That got a lot of money.
Done, right. So he did all right. He took a little bit of a ass kicking from a stewardess, but he made a big check at the end. Everyone has a camera now. Everyone's Walter Cronkite. So you poke the right bear, you pays out.
You're poking that bear, buddy?
No, I'm not poking that bear. Apparently, they say that as far as a boxer, nobody hit with more force. Nobody in the history of boxing hit harder than that guy. I'm not poking that bear. I don't care how old he is. Maniac.
Yeah. Does he have money? Because
No, he's been broke like 9 times.
On my list of pishadoo of the week candidates, I basically just compile a list and take the best ones every week. It's my version of SNL where he's selling.
This week was unwatchable, by the way, with Lizzo.
Oh, I have a good story about that. I have on my list the pishadoo of the week, Mike Tyson selling. He's in the weed business right now, right? Ear bite, the bite of the ear they took from Holyfield shaped edible gummies.
Good for him.
I know it's been on my list to talk about for a month, and I've been like, do I really want to talk about this?
You should do. I think, listen, do what works.
Yeah, we'll see.
If you could sell a line of ridiculous pink sweatshirts and make that kind of money, you would.
Let's talk about this pink sweatshirt. I didn't think it would make it this long to get there, but Zach,
it's all we've talked about.
I'm struggling right now, dude. Julia had a big premiere party last night where we went into the city. No, you didn't get an invite. She barely got a +1.
Fully aware I didn't get an invite.
She's working on a new show on Showtime. It's called Z-Way. It premieres, I think, later this week, where I got all the swag. I got a little heart here. There's a clear tote bag, which Julia goes, "Oh, look, we can bring this to NFL games." I'm like, no, you have to buy the NFL thing.
No, you can bring that if you want, but you're going to look like the biggest loser in the place.
Say I won't. When the Ravens come smash the Jets later this year, I'm bringing my clear.
You're my +2.
As long as it's not my bachelor party weekend.
It won't be. We'll wait for the thing to come out. But yes, I'm going to request that game from my uncle, and you will be one of my +2.
Love it. So, Zach, I go to this premiere party last night where we have to go. They give us some.
Your boy will be the other, by the way, so buckle up. Flashlight.
We got hoodies at the end of it, which I didn't know about. And if you don't think I'm going to wear this everywhere, I love it. Although it does look like a white sweatshirt that you threw a red sock in the wash because it has that pale pink. I didn't know I was supposed to wear pink last night. The show was actually, the second season, way better than the first. So I do recommend people watching it. she interviews people. It's a very left-leaning BLM, but I always compare it
That's
to
lesbian Billy on the street.
no. It's a sit-down talk show. It reminds me a lot of the Ali G show back in the day where they interview people and they're in on the joke, but it's kind of a trying to catch a moment. So the guy last night was Charlemagne the God, who you have no idea who
I
that
know
is.
who he is.
Do you?
Yeah, I do actually.
Other than the fact that his studio was right next to where you play softball, you know something about him.
I don't know anything about him. I've seen him on TV. I couldn't. If he walked in right now with a name tag on, I wouldn't know him. But I know who he is.
Really? Oh, I would know him very much. So, Zach, I took a nap for the second day in a row, just struggling. So,
And I asked you, by the way, I said to you, I just woke up from a nap. My quote was, "Are you hiring? Like, what do you do all day?"
I came home,
Sure.
had a pretzel bun hot dog, and then took a nap. That was my day today.
I want in.
Meanwhile, ever since our dipping episode, which is taking over the internet, I've been using so much more yellow mustard. I'm like, oh, I should have put it on my list. He was right. He was right.
Deli, not yellow. Deli.
No, Goyish mustard. Ew, no.
It's so Goyish of you.
So I'm at this
amazing.
Dak, this premiere party last night, everybody there is just like seen and want to be seen. There were people that were in the show that I then mingled with, and they're all like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I just like, "I'm a doctor."
Not
and I tell
much,
them,
man.
and they look at me like, "So you're supposed to say?" And I'm just giving them the like, "I know you know that I know who you are," and I'm not saying anything about it. And there people were very nice, and I met some funny people. The couple highlights of the night were one, your girl Chloe Finerman was there. Zach,
Good girl, you love her.
I'm standing 3 feet from this girl. If I coughed loudly, she falls over. She is 85 pounds soaking wet.
You love it.
She was there. The other guy who was famous, just dropping names, Eric Andre, who I knew exactly who he was, and all I wanted to say was,
I used to be friends with his like writer guy. I went to high school with him.
I don't know what he's in to be like, I loved you in this, but he never got close to me, so I didn't have to say anything to him.
He's like in anything for 3 seconds, but everyone knows who he is. So he just makes it off being Eric Andre.
Right. And then I sent that to some people, and they're like, oh, he's in the new Jackass. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever.
Cool.
And then, but the real highlight of the night was everybody there is a writer. I think I've come to the conclusion that being a writer in television means you're a performer that didn't quite cut it, or you couldn't get into it. So there was a guy there that I needed to talk to him because Julie needed to talk to him anyways. And finally I was like, oh, so like, what do you do? And he goes, oh, well, I'm a writer. I said, anything I've ever seen? He goes, I write for SNL. I have no idea who this guy is. And Zach, your pencil had more personality than this guy. He was so dull, so dreary. Next,
about what the SNL skits have been.
I don't know, 4 whiskeys deep at this point, and I just start being me. I had this guy laughing, and I was like, real laughing. Couldn't tell you what I said, but it was one of those, I wanted to just drop the mic and walk out.
In 4 days, that's what you said. He's gonna steal from you, guarantee.
As he should. I asked him one question that I remember was, do you ever go back and watch your skits? Because I know sometimes we do these episodes and we'll go back the next day and it comes out way better or way worse. He goes, no.
Good move.
He said, if I missed something, but no, I never rewatch anything. And I was just like, wow, that was very strong. Yeah, I kept on calling him Justin Long's older brother because it's kind of who he looked like. Maybe with a little bit of the bearded guy from Silicon Valley, but that is where I got my swag from. I do plan on wearing this.
Speaking of SNL, I spent Saturday at the American Dream Mall in Tracy Morgan's Entourage. It was quite the scene.
I'm going next weekend.
Yeah,
do you want to talk about this? I wasn't going to bring it up.
I mean, it was fine. It was.
What did you guys have for lunch? There's a lot of great food in that place. Did they bring lunch in?
They did bring lunch in. They ordered
pizza,
an obscene amount of Popeyes. It actually was delicious. And that is how I broke Passover early on Popeye's chicken.
And the beer we had last week.
That doesn't count. That's liquid Passover. That's liquid Schwartz. He was a nice guy. And, but every 2 seconds, photo ops, like fans catcalling him. I asked him, like, dude, does that suck? Does that get annoying? He looks at me and goes, I love it. He couldn't get enough. Like, it would make me insane. Maybe insane standing next to him having people ask for pictures. Just like.
But then you asked for a picture.
What?
You asked for a picture.
We got one with Zoe and her friends, and he was happy to do it with all the kids. But, if I was just a guy and wasn't, like, hanging there, I wouldn't ask him for a picture.
True or false? Zoe is smarter than he is.
Well, definitely at a higher reading level.
He did have a brain injury, to be fair.
He did. And he's He's doing all right. He walks slow. Like he asks us to help people in this group to help him, like stand up. You have to pull him up.
So does
Um,
Eric.
that's true. Um, they the same. They go to the same dietitian. Clearly, both of them are, rotund. Anyway, he was a nice guy. He just wasn't. There's not a lot of substance there, and he was working out some material that he was going to do that night.
Working it out where?
With the parents.
Oh, he was just telling stories and doing shtick?
Yeah.
Really? I do that a lot. That's good.
It wasn't very good.
All right, Zach. Moving on to pishadoo of the week. I got 9 candidates and a bonus one for you.
Oh,
Let's get into this. Did you send me this article about Garrett Cole from last week, or did I just see that?
I sent it to you.
Tell the story.
He did it on Tuesday.
Tell the story.
So, like, literally, as we were, illiterati, he had a thing last week where he was going to give 600 MacBooks to some school in the Bronx that needs it, and the only catch was he was just being cheeky. Yeah, I got to go 2 innings.
He's a pitcher for the Yankees who is one of the best pitchers in baseball and makes all the money.
Yeah, he got shelled that night. Shortest outing of his career, an inning and 2/3. Now, I don't know if he actually gave the MacBooks. He shouldn't have, because who are we without our principles and without our word? But, I mean, why don't you just say I'm giving them to the kid? Why even put a stipulation on it? What an idiot. And he got rocked. He got his tits lit.
It's Scott's Tots all over again. I love it.
He shouldn't have given it. I think, stick to your guns.
Candidate number 2, pishadoo of the week. Candidate the second. I don't know the whole story, but apparently there was a 10-year-old boy who stole some potato chips at a bodega somewhere, and the cop came, took the kid, traumatized him, threw him in the back of a police car just to scare him, let him go, and they raised all the ruckus.
Who's they?
The people that were in his community that lived there.
Gotcha.
I talked with many people.
The kid or the cop or the people?
The people are reacting like, how dare that cop do anything like this? And I thought, good for them. Scare the kid. 10 years. He stole. Did the punishment fit the crime? I don't know, but he stole something. They scared him. They tried to scare him straight, whether it worked or not.
He's going to do it again?
I hope not.
Then it worked.
So you're on board. You're the same thing with me.
Yeah. Eye for an eye.
The best revenge is revenge.
Absolutely. Cops should have stolen something from him. Here, I'm taking your bed. Enjoy. Go big.
I'm taking your bed?
Yeah.
He steals chips. You steal his pillow and blankie?
I promise you he won't do it again if you steal his bed.
Next candidate. This story went very under the radar. The Army Golden Knights, I think that's the college, they have a whole parachute team.
Oh, God.
They did a coordinated jump into Washington Nationals Park or something. Apparently, nobody got the memo about that. They had to evacuate. Yep. They thought they were being raided. What in the hell?
Amazing.
Make a phone call. Let us know that was insane.
As amazing as that is, I heard that. Who is the singular pishadoo there? The GM, the head of security for the Nats Park, just all of it?
I assume you should do some signature thing where if I'm the person saying, hey, we're doing this, get a signature, hold somebody accountable to say, oh yeah, this day, this is when we're doing it. Or it's just a he said, she said.
Or an email, something with a paper trail. All right, I got you.
Number 4, I think I sent this to you. The Texas JUCO pitcher who absolutely blew up the guy coming around third base.
It's not a pishadoo, it's amazing.
Do we know why he hit that guy? The guy had to talk smack as he was rounding the bases, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the video, it was a baseball game. It's up there where somebody hits a home run. They're in their trot, and the pitcher makes a beeline for third base. Ray Lewis is this guy, not stabs him, just hits him. And next thing you know, bench is clear. The JUCO pitcher, by the way, suspended for the rest of the year. He's done.
Worth it. Because you know what? You'll never know who he is unless he goes pro, becomes something. But that video will live on forever.
A JUCO baseball player is not going pro.
I think DeGrom did. I think he was JUCO.
Yeah, how's that working out, buddy?
He's not getting tackled.
Candidate number 5. Trader Joe's went viral this past weekend where apparently they're selling kosher for Passover challah. Explain that one to me. K
I
for
can't.
P. You can't.
I
They
don't get it.
basically they were selling Jewish
I don't
bread
get it.
and it said kosher for Passover.
I got nothing. That's actually very high on my list.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel bad about the next guy because he was doing very good things for my fantasy team. But your boy, Miles Strong, outfielder for the Cleveland Guardians, going back and forth with fans. What are you doing? Why do you care? Shut up and hit the ball.
Yeah. So he's the idiot?
I think he's the idiot in the situation. Let the fans, unless they throw something.
Which they did! And it rained on them.
Oh, I thought it was a verbal back and forth first.
First, did you see the outfield? It was littered.
Littering and?
Littering and? Exactly. Oh, no, yeah. They were jawing. I don't know why you go back and forth. Yeah, let your bat do the talking. The one time I actually got a response from any athlete was a jawing, Mike Morse, and he went like 4 for 4 and torched the Mets, and then looked up at us with a smug smile. These things happen.
Do you know the story when we went to Baltimore last year with?
I wasn't there.
I know, but there was a guy sitting 2 seats down from us that was giving Lindor all the business. And this was when Lindor was struggling to the point that Dominic Smith from the dugout turns and was like, knock it off. Enough. They shouldn't be doing that. And it was like, oh, I can't believe he did that.
Oh, I would have doubled down. If you had someone else to fight your battle for you, I would double down on Lindor.
I went to a game once, Orioles-Yankees, and the Yankees bullpen. Sorry, my buddy was a Yankees fan. He's just giving somebody in the Orioles bullpen all the business. The guy ends and puts his hand up and gives my buddy the finger. I was like, awesome. that was great. And I was there like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Next candidate, number 7. There is something going viral these days definitely on TikTok where girls will say something like, oh, I met this sugar daddy. And then they start posting all these pictures with dirty old men, the same guy. And it's very clear that it's their boyfriend, husband, fiance with an old person filter on it. I think these things are very stupid. I'm just hoping that there ends up being a weight addition filter that we can do to reciprocate.
Like a weight addition? Like make someone fat?
Yes. Nothing.
Nah. Doesn't do it for me.
Next candidate, Tanta Marlene, fresh off of her trip from.
She's a pishadoo, Tanta Marlene?
From Nashville. I saw her this past weekend. She showed me all her pictures. A lot of good stories, a lot of good time. She somehow ended up in a men's bathroom, whether it was to look at something or to
look at something?
She shows me, Zach, a picture of a urinal that, starts about chest level and goes all the way to the floor. And I just looked at her like, so? She goes, have you ever seen anything like that? Is crazy. I went,
I love the floor length ones.
Every elementary school bathroom has those.
And a good steakhouse where they're wide. I love a good steakhouse bathroom. It was a tour of a men's room? What are you talking about? What kind of tour was this? I love when the urinal has ice in it. That's fantastic.
There's a bar in Hoboken where they have a little soccer ball that hangs from the urinal.
I love those things you can play with. Yeah.
I think right now Aunt Marlene is learning so much about men's bathrooms that anything that we're saying right now.
And if you tap the guy's foot under the stall, sorry, go on.
And the last candidate for pishadoo of the week. If you're not watching Winning Time on HBO, it's absolutely fantastic. I talk about it every week. It's a retelling of.
Tell me it's good or it's bad, or it's good or it's bad.
The real Jerry West, who is depicted not so great in this show, is suing HBO because they're making him look like a drunken idiot. I think he's an ass. There's no way that this show is taking somebody who went to church every Sunday and went home to his family and turning him into a drunk. There has to be a little truth behind it.
Must be true. Yeah, it must be 100% true.
The best analogy I heard online was somebody said, if you've ever seen a caricature drawing, what you do is you take the person and you just look like, oh, their ears are a little big. You make them ginormous. Oh, their nose is a little slanted. Make it take all the way to the right. I assume Jerry West had a little bit of a drinking thing back in the day, and they're just blowing this guy up.
I think it's probably pretty spot on. I think all these things had consultants.
Garrett Cole, 10-year-old steals chips and get arrested. Army Golden Knights parachute Texas JUCO pitcher makes a tackle. Trader Joe's coaster for Passover challah. Miles Strong. Old filter compilation. Tunta not knowing that Nashville urinals or anything can go to the ground. Jerry West suing HBO is number 9, and I'm not getting into it, but do you want to throw in Johnny Depp trial pooping on beds just because? Pishadoo? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like, Zach?
I honestly think it's Garrett Cole. I love that Marlene went to a bathroom tour and didn't know what was doing in there. But I can't give it to her for that.
Her other story was she took pictures of homeless people with signs. One guy had a sign that said, "I don't want money, I want weed." He didn't get any money. Another guy had a sign that said, "Trying to go micro to Mandingo." He got all the money. It's great. If you met her and you know her, she was so happy about this.
That's the great. Aunt Marlene, can you define Mandingo? I don't know what it means. Just put it in the chat. But be thorough. What's a Nubian?
All right, Zach. We are skipping this week of trivia because we want to do a little new segment here.
We're shell-shocked from the Oriole trivia.
Maybe that's what I'm just waving the white flag. But Zach, you and I, we go back and forth. We have our rants. We interrupt each other. I thought it would be fun for each of us just to take a second and let the other person talk. So I will let you start with something that's on your mind, or I can go first.
I'm going.
You're going. All right, Zach, the time is yours.
It is a sick, sick world out there. Now, my sister ended up getting scammed for so I told Alan it's a cat scam. I think he probably is a doctor, though I meant cat scam, but no. So a girl at my office found a website. It was sent to her where there was a 3-day countdown clock to euthanasia for the cutest kitten you could ever imagine. So everyone's panicking now because this kitten's going to get killed pretty much on like live internet. So I send to all my crazy cat lady friends, like, someone's got to adopt this kitten. Our office is all in shambles, scattered. All my other cat friends say they can't. My sister takes the hook. She goes, "Oh, I would love to. The cat's too cute. It's beyond. We'll give it a good home." And then the woman doesn't show up. Then the woman asks my sister for $50 for the adoption stuff, which my sister then pays her. And then it turns out that the woman's in Jersey. It was a whole scam. Who the hell scams people with threatens to kill a cat? The cat probably didn't even exist. My dad looked at it and goes, "There's no way a cat euthanasia countdown clock is even legal." So yes, cat scam, the whole thing is awful. I've lost total faith in humanity. We're all worse people for this. And now I've got to buy 30 pounds of litter from my sister. So the only one who really loses here is me. But there we go. And that's my time.
Don't fuck with cats is the rule with that, I guess.
The whole thing was bananas. I'm not thrilled with American Girl either, that my daughter went there and the American Girl's clothes are more expensive than my clothes. The sheets are better sheets too. They have a meal with the doll. The whole thing is just one big money drain.
Wow.
Go on.
Go on. I actually hate cats. I couldn't care less, but apparently it's a thing. If anybody listens to this podcast, usually in the first couple of minutes, you hear a little ding-a-ling in the back. For the people that don't know, Zach, tell them what that is.
That's my cat loudly eating.
Every podcast.
You didn't do it tonight.
The hell she didn't.
She did?
Food gone. Food gone.
Food is gone.
Absolutely. All right, Zach, I got one for you today then. I want to talk about chugging. I don't know when beer chugging became such a popular thing to do and teach online, but it's gotten out of hand. Tell me you're a wannabe bro without telling me you're actually a tool. Gone are the days of slamming a natty light, crushing the can on your head. Maybe there was a connection of CTE, although frat boys and football players have the same number of brain cells anyways, so who cares? Opening your throat and throwing liquid down your gullet as quickly as possible is a skill that translates into absolutely nothing. Pounding and keeping down a gallon of milk from a cow, now that's impressive. Better yet, try making it a bull. The only time I want to see a drink getting chugged is when you've been nursing that pint like an underpaid ICU worker and it's time to leave the bar. I'm out.
You stole that from Kingpin.
The one joke I definitely did.
Yeah. But still pretty good.
So you're so...
What?
Go on.
But wait, so Wait, chugging a beer has now become like a thing?
It's a viral sensation. It's
I've
people
never
teaching you
seen
how
a
to do
person.
it.
It's not
It's too
rocket
much.
science. I've
I
never
just
seen a
hate it.
video of
I
it.
hate the fact that there are people going, you've been around a chug, chug, chug. Like, shut up. I don't care.
I've never seen someone teaching someone else how to chug.
Forget teaching. You've been there where people are chugging beers and they think they're cool because of it.
I mean, we've all chugged a beer and thought we were pretty fucking cool.
Shotgunning is better than chugging.
I don't like shotgunning. It's just
You're such a girl.
mess. You had your key in there. That means the key was in the lock is dirty.
It bothers me. The fact that
on.
people think it's a cool thing, it's not.
Okay. Keg standing, is that still cool?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. Thanks for listening to this episode. We hope everybody had fun. I laughed a bunch. Make sure you're keeping up with these episodes.
We laughed a lot on this one.
We're going to keep it going. Passover's over. What's coming up? Anything good? Almost have Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, yeah.
Are you a Star Wars nerd? Are you going to do the like May the 4th thing? Because I hate that.
I don't love it, but I still might. I like that more than like Pie Day. Was a million like pizzas and lattices of pie. May the 4th. I don't not do it. Yes, Kenny My Heart. That guy.
I love that you call him Kenny My Heart.
NFL draft. The Jets are going to do great. And Marlene Simon Schnitzer is getting married.
We're going to a wedding this upcoming weekend. Yes.
Good times.
We out.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.